Nice meeting you again. You're welcome back to my channel. What I have today is how to make a princess dart breast cut. It's a very simple one. All you need to do, for those of you that are subscribed to my channel, just watch my tutorial to the end. And if this is your first time you watch my tutorial, I welcome you to this great channel, Tosban Fashion Channel, a channel where you can learn easily how to sew and how to cut. Now, all you need to do is to subscribe to my channel, like my videos, and then share my videos as well. Thank you very much. Like I said, I want to appreciate you all my subscribers, for supporting my video by clicking on the liking button. Thank you very much. I really appreciate you. Now, to start up, this is the fabric I shall be using for this particular tutorial. Now, the full length of this blouse is 23 inches, while the upper length is 15.5 inches. So I shall be working on the upper length. So 15.5 inches plus 1. Well, I'm going to cut out the total of 16.5 inches. Now, the bust circumference is 36 inches, and 36 inches divided by 4 gives me 9 inches. I shall be adding extra 5 inches to that 9 inches, which gives me 14 inches. So let's go. So right now, I'm going to rule a straight line on this edge. Now, after this straight line, then I take my tape rule and I measure 8 inches from that line downward. So I will rule another line here. Now this line will serve as my bust line or chest line. Then after that, I move down a bit by 2 inches from that bust line. So I rule another straight line. Then I move down by 3 inches. I make another straight line there. Then, remember I said the upper length of this blouse is 15.5 inches. I've added an inch, making it 16.5 inches, a total of 16.5 inches. So I have it here. So I'm going to make a straight line right there. So right now, this space here, this 1 inch space, is for the zipper allowance. So the shoulder line of this particular blouse is 14 inches, and 14 inches divided by 2 gives me 7 inches. So I have my 7 inches right here. So I shall be connecting this line to this bust line. So having connected the line, then from this place, I shall be marking 4 inches inward. So I have my 4 inches right here. Down to the waistline. So right now I'm going to connect these lines. Now I've connected this line, then I move to the neckline. I have my neckline to be 3 inches. Now the depth of the front panel, I have it 5 inches. And I connect to this place. Then for the back panel, the depth, I have the depth to be 2.5 inches. So I'm going to connect down to this place. Because this one is the back piece. So after this, I will make a slight curve. Then for the front panel, I make my curve. So right now, I have my shoulder slope less than 1 inch. So I connect to the neckline. So here, at that point, I'm going to measure from here 4 inches. Then I make my curve, hammer curve. But before I make my hammer curve, so for the bust, I have the bust to be 9 inches. That is 1/4 of my bust, 9 inches. That is 36 divided by 4. Plus 1 inch for the joining. Then plus 1 inch for seam allowance. I'm going to stop there. So I'm going to make my curve. So I will be extending here by 1 inch. So here I will be connecting this, making a slight curve to this place. So right now, then I make another one. So the next thing right now is for me to cut. After cutting, we will now start the second phase. So right now, this is our front panel. I keep this aside, and this is the front panel of the princess. So I'm going to split this into two. This is for this, and this is for this. I will quickly work on the front panel. So I will place it right there. Okay. So this is the bust line, and this is the breast point line. So right now, at that breast point line, this is the breast point line, and this is the under bust line. Now at this under bust line, I'm going to make 1.1 inches inward, and bring it down to the waistline. So then I make a curve to meet this one. Remember this one, now I'm going to cut it off. So we are going to reshape it again. Like this part, I've already done the calculation before. On the bust line, I said the bust line circumference is 36 inches. And 36 inches divided by 4 gives me 9 inches, where I have it here. Then I also added 1 inch for this joining, 1 inch, then another 1 inch for the seam allowance. So then coming to the under bust, I have my under bust to be 29 inches. Now 29 inches divided by 4, I have less than 7.5, so I'm going to measure it. I have it somewhere here. You can see that there is space here. I have to return this space. So, and the space is 1.5 inches. So I'm going to return it. Else, our fabric will be short. So I will have to return it back. So I have my 1.5 inches here. Then plus the joining of 1 inch. I have it here. Then plus 1 inch of my seam allowance. The seam allowance I have here. So you will discover that I didn't touch the breast point line. It's not affected, or it's not affected too much. So I'm going to come right to the base, which is the waist circumference. I have the waist circumference to be 30 inches, and 30 inches divided by 4, I have 7.5 inches. This is my 7.5 inches, plus this space here, which is 1.5. I'm going to return it back. I have it here. plus 1 inch for the joining, so I have it here. Then finally plus 1 inch for the seam allowance, 1 inch, I have it here. So right now I'm going to connect these lines. I will connect these two lines together. Remember, I'm working on the wrong side of this fabric, not on the right side. So this space here, I'm going to cut it off. So then I will now come to the neckline, that is the front panel. This is the front panel, so I reshape the neckline. So I'm going to keep this aside. Then I work on the back panel. So I place it like this. Then coming to here, I'm going to mark 1 inch inward, like so. 1 inch. I will connect this line first. Then I make a slide to connect to this line. Now this has a reason. The reason for this is, at the end of the day, the zipper line will not have a bump at the back. It will be a flat one. That's the essence of me making 1 inch inward. So that is just the essence. Now we are going to right now is for our measurement. Now here, which is the bust line, I have my 9 inches here. 9 inches, remember, plus 1 inch of the zipper allowance, so I shall be marking 10 inches here. So I have my 10 inches here, plus 1 inch for my joining. I have it here. Then I'm going to mark 1 inch also, 1.5 inches, because when you look at this place, there is a space of half an inch. So this half an inch plus 1 inch of my seam allowance, so I shall be marking 1.5 inches. Now coming to this place, I will be marking 10 plus 1 inch, this space which I shall be cutting off, 1 inch plus 1 inch for the joining, then plus 1 inch for my seam allowance. So the same thing is applicable to the base here, that is the waist circumference, 10, 1 inch, this 1 inch, then plus 1 inch for the joining, and 1 inch for the seam allowance. So right now I'm going to connect these lines. So I'm going to cut this off. So, but before I do that, I will also cut this off. Now, we are through with this. The next thing now is to take my interface and use, all I need to do is to place all these pieces on my interface and use it to cut it out, including the wording, what I shall be using to pad the princess dart. So here is the space for the princess dart for the back panel, and it has been taken care of in terms of the fixing back the space. So I'm going to cut it off. The dart.